I'm sure you've been thinking this through until the cows come home, but what happens to the spot price, the euro spot price, if we get everything but QE?
Well, I think it really depends on what we get from the ECB, because as you mentioned, a negative deposit rate, I think, is assumed by the market. But it's a question of whether we see a more aggressive cut in the deposit rate than perhaps the move to 0.1 as the market is assuming. I think we might well do that. And if we do that, an accompaniment of perhaps the ending of the S&P sterilisation and a cut in the minimum reserve requirement, then I think that should encourage the euro to go lower, and we should be able to get through that sort of 135.85 support point that's really capped the market over the course of the last few sessions, and get us back towards the sort of 134.70 area. But it is very much the case that markets are preconditioned towards expecting news flow from the ECB to encourage the euro to go lower, and of course the burden of proof for Mr. Draghi is in that case exceptionally high.
And what is your base case at CIBC now for the euro?
Well, our base case is, and has been for some considerable time, that we thought the ECB would be forced to do more. We thought the ECB would be eventually forced to consider expanding its balance sheet after the recent contraction. And ultimately, we've been looking for a weaker euro, and we continue to view that. So we're looking for a lower euro through the course of the rest of this year, back to sub 130 before the end of the year. As I say, for today, though, you have to be a little bit cautious that we might see a bias in terms of everybody, or largely biased in terms of a lower euro. We perhaps see a little bit of a spike as the ECB initially, perhaps in terms of market expectations, under-delivers. But I think there will be still a strong mentality to sell into any euro rallies in the shorter term, particularly if we get something in the region of the sort of 137.30 area.
Yeah, all right. And with the BOE in mind, I guess the trade is short euro sterling?
Yes, I think it is. I think that's been a trade that we've been recommending for some time. I think the minutes will be fascinating from this meeting on June the 18th, because, of course, we could get the first dissenter in terms of voting for a hike. So I think from a euro sterling perspective, rallies up to the 81.50-55 area, I think are good levels to sell. I think we will see euro sterling through the sort of 80.80 threshold in the not too distant future, and maybe heading back towards the low 80 area.